Hey everyone, haven't done one of these in a while, but it's Vinegar Syndrome unboxing time. This is the Black Friday 2024 order. Yeah, I haven't bought much from Vinegar Syndrome for pretty much all of the year, just because lately the stuff that they've been releasing hasn't always been my type of thing. Like, they've done a lot more, like, kung fu action movies, things that aren't really my thing. But they ended up releasing a bunch of stuff I wanted for the Black Friday, and then there was a couple other like discounted odds and ends that I got. So let's unbox and see what I got for good old time's sake, because I honestly do not remember the last time I did a Vinegar Syndrome unboxing video. It's probably not this calendar year because I barely released any videos this year, but yeah. Trusty utility knife. Okay, first and foremost, it's a little accessory. First and foremost, it's I cashed in some of my rewards points to get a little magnet for my fridge. It's just the Vinegar Syndrome logo. It's like a rubbery magnet, so just wanted that for my fridge because they didn't have any like slip covers or anything else I wanted. But then this is for my Christmas tree. Because after the election where the racist, rapist, horrible fascist president was elected, I've had my tree up since the first week of November, pretty much, because I was like, the hell with it, let's put something nice. I'm always looking for different ornaments to put on the tree, because after I had that breakup with my last partner, I've basically been down to like 50% of the ornaments I used to have. So when I saw that they had like a little like VHS hand-blown glass ornament, I thought, well, I definitely want to get that for my tree to put it on. And what does it look like? It just looks like a nice little VHS tape. Look at that. So you got DeGauser video there. That's what it looks like on that. It's got the little logo on the side. Doesn't look like much on that. And then, yeah, so it's just, you know, just a nice little VHS tape. That's fun. So that'll go up on my tree in short order. And, I might just keep my tree up for a while. Because, when's the inauguration? January 20th? Maybe I'll keep it up past then. It'll just be a general tree of mourning for horrible things happening. Okay. Let's see, I guess we should begin here at the different movies and stuff I got. Okay. So, there's a little sticker in here. Okay, first we have Black-Eyed Susan. I have not seen this movie, so it's a blind buy, but this is a brand new movie that was filmed under the Vinegar Syndrome Pictures label, and it was directed by, I think his name is Scooter McCrae. But anyway, it's got a slip box here, front, back, side, and then we got the slip cover here, front, side, back. But the director of this film, he made one of the best shot-on-video movies I've ever seen, which was called Shatter Dead. And it's one of those movies where, even though it was shot on VHS, when I was watching it, because that was similarly a blind buy from a partner label, Saturn's Core, off of Vinegar Syndrome. But I was watching that movie and I'm like, if this were made today and it were shot on film, the concept of this movie and everything, it would probably be well regarded in like an A24 or Neon type art house horror movie. And so, because normally most of the shot on video stuff is like, horror comedy, or maybe so bad it's good, but this was like a genuinely good movie, so I thought I'd want to give a shot to a new movie that he made, and he actually shot this on film, 16mm film, which is why Vinegar Syndrome is putting it out. They're putting out movies that are actually shot natively on celluloid. It also has Damien Maffei, who I met at a convention a few years ago, and he does the voice of Johnny in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, or video game rather. So I just thought this would be pretty cool. It was shot entirely on motion picture film and finished in 4K. We're just looking at some extras. There's a commentary track with the writer-director, Scooter McCrae is his name. It's moderated by Mike Gingold. There's a group commentary track with the producer and some of the cast. There is a interview with the writer and director. There is a conversation with the cast. Let's see, some of the producers being interviewed about it. An interview with the cinematographer, interview with the composer, deleted and extended scenes, screen tests for one of the actors, multiple trailers it just says multiple trailers, and a short film by Scooter McCrae from 2015. So, looking forward to checking that out. The last Vinegar Syndrome Pictures, original movie that got released was, Evil Eyes, I think it was? I saw it on the Joe Bob show, and I thought that was pretty good. So this might end up on Shudder, too, at some point. There's that. And then, this was one I was super excited about, because this is a movie I absolutely love, but it is Trey Parker's Cannibal the Musical. Cannibal the Musical was the movie that Trey Parker and Matt Stone, better known as the South Park guys, or the Book of Mormon creators, or however you know them, but it was a movie they made in college. It's about a local Colorado historical figure named Alfred Packer. When they made it, they submitted it to Sundance, and it was rejected without even a letter. It got rejected from everything. Eventually, Troma picked up the rights, and they put it out. And the rest is history. After this, they made Orgasmo, and South Park picked up, and all that stuff. But I'm a big fan of Trey Parker and Matt Stone's stuff when they're not pushing their horrible libertarian politics. So this was just a really funny, Oklahoma meets Friday the 13th comedic riff. And it's a pretty damn good movie, considering they're just a bunch of college students making a zero-budget musical. Now, I had been told not to expect that it would ever be put out, even though Vinegar Syndrome has been putting out a lot of Troma films throughout their history, because the negative was missing. And that's still the case. The negative is lost or thrown away for this movie. So what they ended up doing to put it out on a new remastered whatever is they went to a videotape master that exists at Troma, and they scanned that. But they also apparently found one of maybe only one 35mm release prints and scan that and put it on there too, so you can either watch it as a okay generation on film or from the video master that exists. But anyway, this is the front of the hard slip case. This is the back. Let's see, it comes with a little booklet. Actually, it's kind of a thick booklet, to be honest. Yeah. And, let's see, front slipcover, back slipcover, and I do believe this had a decent amount of extras on it. Let's see, 2-disc, region-free. I know there was some words between the UK distributor and Vinegar Syndrome on this one, but yeah. So, video restoration from the best surviving Betacam tape master, and a brand new 4K restoration of the only surviving film material, a 35mm theatrical print. Let's see, there's the archival drunk commentary with a lot of the cast and crew. I've listened to that on the old Troma DVD release that I have. I never upgraded to Blu-ray before this. But that's quite funny. There's a different archival commentary with a couple of the producers, the costume designer, and some of the actors. There's a brand new cast and crew commentary with a lot of them, just not the main ones, not Trey, not Matt, and not Dylan Baker, or Bacher, however you pronounce his name. And let's see. There is a newly produced 67-minute making-of documentary. There is a 20-minute interview with Dean Baker. There is a 17-minute featurette about adapting this movie to a stage musical. A making-of documentary that just has a bunch of interviews with the cast and crew. Brand new interview with, I already saw that. Actually, are there two of them? I guess maybe I'm just reading it twice. And let's see. A bunch of alternate title sequence, a bunch of archival stuff, deleted scenes, original trailers, behind-the-scenes footage. So yeah, there's a couple new things, and a lot of the stuff from the old Troma release is ported over to here, but I am excited because I have not rewatched this movie in quite a while, but I first watched it in high school. They had it in the cult video section of Hollywood Video, which is where I rented it. Then years later, I bought the Troma DVD. Never upgraded to Blu-ray, but now I have. So, let's see, that's bag 1. Bag 2, here we go. Next, they really did a lot of slipcases this time. Looking for Mr. Goodbar. This movie has not had a home video release ever, as far as I know. Maybe it got a VHS release at one point. But it was made in the 70s, and what happened was, when you made a movie and you licensed a bunch of music for the soundtrack, before home video was a thing, you only licensed that music to be shown theatrically and maybe for TV rights. But there was nothing in those licensing agreements for home video. So when home video became a thing in the 80s, you know, if you're trying to use music in a movie you're about to make now, maybe you won't get bent over a barrel over the licensing fee, because it's like, hey, we can just use someone else's music if your price is too high. Here, the music is already in the movie. It's a big disco soundtrack in this movie, so it's very pivotal to the film itself. And it's like, the people who then own the rights to that song are going to be like, well, it's already in your movie, so you either going to pay us this astronomical amount to license it for home video now to get a little extra scratch on top of what you paid us before, or we're going to force you to either not release your movie, or you're going to have to dub in a temp track that no one wants to, because then it's not the original film. So the music licensing rights were the big holdup for this movie, and I don't know how much Vinegar Syndrome and Paramount had to pay to unlock all of that, because apparently they got all of the original music except for like one song on here. But yeah, this is a blind buy because I've never seen it, but it's always been one of those movies that is sort of like a holy grail for home video collectors because it's never gotten a release. So, got it. So, front of the slipcase, back of the slipcase, side. Also comes with a booklet, another pretty chunky, decent booklet of essays and whatnot. Front of the... Is there nudity on here? I don't think so. It's a finger, right? Yeah. Front of the slipcase, side, back of the slipcase. And, yeah, this is a 4K, by the way. But extras on here are... has the full movie, newly restored from 35mm negative. Has a commentary track from filmmaker, film scholar Jillian Horvat. Let's see, there's also a making of interview with someone who wrote a book about the director, Richard Brooks. There is an archival interview with Studs Terkel from 1976. There is a visual essay that's 30 minutes long about the obscenity trial following this movie's release in Utah. Yeah, I guess the Mormons didn't like this movie. Original trailer and radio spots. So not too much in the extras department, but pretty much, since this has been a movie that people have been wanting to see for a while on home video. I mean, Diane Keaton, Richard Gere. It's kind of a big ticket movie, and not many people have seen it because of its lack of availability. I think it's at least aired on TV a few times in the last few years, like TCM and stuff. So this will hopefully have more people discovering it, and I look forward to seeing what I actually think of the damn movie. And, look, not many people are going to stand up for this movie, and I won't blame them, but I have a ton of nostalgia for Sliver, the Joe Esterhaus written, penned movie with Sharon Stone and Billy Baldwin and Tom Berenger. My mother was a big fan of some movies like this when I was growing up, and so she owned this movie on VHS. And so when I got to a certain age, and you're horny and you want to see nude actresses in a pre-internet era, you know, I would, whenever she was out, I would just, like, pop in some of the movies she'd owned, and it was through that experience that I ended up liking Sliver. It's, yeah, the premise of the film is that there's a creepy landlord, and he has cameras in all of the apartments of this high-rise building, and Sharon Stone moves in, and there's murders in the building, only murders in the building, and you basically have to figure out, is it going to be the landlord, or is it going to be this creepy author, because she works for, like, a literary agent or whatever. And, admittedly, a lot of the movie doesn't work, especially this hastily reshot ending that was put on it. It's basically where, spoiler alert, the movie is written so that there is a very specific red herring who is, you know, is supposed to be the red herring, and the other person who is supposed to be the actual killer. But by the end of the movie, the red herring ends up actually being the killer, which doesn't make sense based on what we know about storytelling. But as far as like those trashy 90s erotic thrillers, I have a soft spot for Sliver, and I had revisited it last year when Katrina Longworth on her You Must Remember This podcast was doing her erotic 90s season. And so I decided to follow along with that and revisit some of these movies because I'm a big fan of erotic thrillers and I miss the fact that they don't really make them anymore. And when I rewatched it, I'm like, you know, I see all of this movie's flaws and I completely understand the people who do not like this movie, but I still like it regardless. And yeah, I mean, in today's world with modern technology and Ring cameras and everything, the idea that someone is, you know, live viewing you where you think you're private isn't as ostentatious because, I mean, there's hidden cameras and Airbnb scandal all the time and stuff. But it was kind of an interesting look at, like, voyeurism and, you know, the idea of peeking into people when we're not viewing them. Again, this is pre-most reality TV, pre-all of that, so, you know, I'm not going to say the movie's ahead of its time because that's giving it a little too much credit. But I have a fondness for the movie. So anyway, this is the front of the slipcase, side, and back. This one also comes with a decent size booklet of essays and whatnot. Slipcover. And it's a 4K release. Extras on here. Let's see. It's the unrated cut of the movie, restored from the 35mm original camera negative. The original ending for this movie is readily available on YouTube. I don't think they put it on the disc. It involves like a helicopter and a volcano. It's crazy. It's why they ended up hastily reshooting with the ending the movie has now. Would have been nice if they could have included it, but they didn't, so it is what it is. But at least it's the unrated version of the movie and not the theatrical R-rated cut. And let's see, extras beyond that. There's an interview with the director, Philip Noyce. There is an interview with Joe Esterhazy, only 12 minutes. They interviewed Joe Esterhazy for the Showgirls release not too long ago, too, so. Let's see, an interview with actress Colleen Camp, the archival EPK, which has, you know, interviews from the other people, like Billy Baldwin and Sharon Stone. It does have alternate scenes from the R-rated edit, if you're curious about that. But yeah, so not too much in the way of extras again, but I don't know, I have a soft spot for this movie, so I figured I should own it on 4K, even though I've never owned it before. I think I streamed it in like Paramount Plus when I revisited it last year, something like that. Yep, we got more. I will address this one, I guess. So, every year for the last few years, Vinegar Syndrome has run a April Fool's thing where you, like, quote-unquote donate money to, like, a gag listing, and by the time November rolls around, you figure out what you actually got from it. Sometimes it's a special slipcover. This time it was the release of an actual full-on movie. But, you know, people were upset because the slipcover is like they give you some markers, and it's a blank, it looks like something out of, like, They Live, where it has the name of the movie on the side, but you're free to draw on it. And people were, like, having a conniption fit over this. And it's like, you gave money to an April Fool's gimmick. So when Vinegar Syndrome responds to that by giving you a very gimmicky release, why are you upset? You paid for a gimmick and they delivered the gimmick, and yet somehow a bunch of people are pissed off and giving the surprised Pikachu face to what they did. I don't know, I think it's fun. So, I don't have much artistic talent, but I will go ahead and draw something on here at some point. But the movie is called Side Roads. I had never heard of it before. And this is the front, and this is the back. So, for extras on this, it is newly scanned in 4K from the Best Surviving Film Elements, a 35mm low-con print, low contrast. Let's see, there is a disc-exclusive video from the Vinegar Syndrome film archive called Winding Through Side Roads. That seems like it'd probably be fun. It's probably like one of those YouTube videos with Oscar that they put up on the YouTube channel, going over some of their process. I always like those. Let's see, there is an SOV shot-on-video feature by this movie's director, Bill Bordy, called Une soirée élégante from the year I was born, 1983. There is a second SOV feature by this man called Twilight Blues from 1985, so there's 3 full movies on this thing. Original video promos for Une soirée élégante and Twilight Blues, a promo trailer for this movie, Side Roads, and there is a 2-part documentary interview with the co-writer, director, and producer and star of this movie, Bill Bordy, produced by the Vinegar Syndrome Film Archive. So, not much in the way of like extras about the movie. So the extras are that this comes with 2 extra movies besides Side Roads. So, I don't know. I forget what this was, like $20 that we threw in for the April Fool's thing, and we get, you know, a gimmicky release where we can draw some shit on it from DKola, and 2 shot-on-video movies plus Side Roads. So, yeah. I don't know why people are pissed. And then next is this movie called Red Rooms, which is also a blind buy, because I still have not seen this yet, but I have heard nothing but great things about it since it premiered on like VOD and maybe a couple film festivals. So I thought I'd take a chance. This is released by partner label Utopia. Anyway, front of the slipcover, back of the slipcover. This is one of 2 movies. Only this and Side Roads are the only movies I got that didn't come with a slipcase this time. Front of that, and the extras on this one include, let's see, audio commentary from the director, audio commentary from film historian Alex West. This is a new movie, I don't know why they have a historian here. I'm sure it's explained in the thing. There is a live show at the Rivière du Loup in Quebecois with the composer, and then a trailer, behind-the-scenes featurette, and a booklet with an essay. But I had heard that this is about, like, parasocial relationships and true crime and stuff like that, so it seems very of the moment. So I was very interested in checking this out, figured it was worth the blind buy. I don't blind buy as much anymore because I still have a gigantic pile of movies that I have not yet watched. So, yeah. And then we have the thing that everyone went crazy for. They had a 12,000 limited edition run, which sold out in like 2 days or something insane like that. But it is Michael Mann's second film after Thief, called The Keep. The history of this movie is pretty well known, I think, at this point. Michael Mann shot this movie. It's based on a novel. It's like a sci-fi horror Nazi thing. And Michael Mann did not get final cut on the movie because Michael Mann wasn't Michael Mann yet. Well, he only had 1 movie banked before this. And so the movie that was released in theaters is not his cut. It is a compromised version of it. And for either licensing reasons or Michael Mann-related reasons, the director's cut has never been made available anywhere, as far as I know. I think there's some fan edits of the theatrical cut with scenes from the TV cut floating around out there, which is probably the closest we have to like a complete version of Michael Mann's intended vision. And unfortunately, you know, Vinegar Syndrome wasn't able to put any sort of director's cut on this disc, but they did finally get the theatrical cut on Blu-ray and 4K, because I believe it had only been available on DVD prior, and I think that was in like Australia, maybe Via Vista or Via Visions, whatever that Australian label is. I don't know if it's ever had a US DVD release, but it certainly hasn't had anything higher generation than that. So people went crazy and sold out of it very quickly, though I do think there is a Australia or UK release coming soon of this too. And obviously, if you don't care about the limited edition, the standard will be available. But slipcase. Front, back, side. Also comes with a booklet, about the same length as all the other booklets. And then front of the slipcover, side, and back with the title. And let's see. So this has the 96-minute theatrical cut of the movie, restored from the original camera negative. Also includes, let's see, an interview with the producer, an interview with the author of the original novel that The Keep is based on. Did he do the screenplay here too? No, Michael Mann did the screenplay himself. An interview with the VFX producer, an interview with the makeup effects designer, an interview with the co-composer, an interview with actor Michael Carter, and a trailer. So a couple interviews, nothing too major on that. And now, after The Keep, the very last thing that I bought, which is sort of a last minute, because I figured I didn't originally buy this, even though I had wanted it because it seemed super overpriced, but they had a Black Friday price cut on it, and I'm not sure if the limited edition was ever going to be cheaper than it was, so I went ahead and bit the bullet on it. But it is the collector's edition of Maniac 2 comic book. This is the comic book sequel to the movie Maniac from 1980, I believe, with Joe Spinell. So it's Maniac 2 Roadkill. Let's see, it is a 4-book edition box set with 2 deluxe interlocking cases. It's got 4 full-color art prints, 8 trading cards, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree, 4 collector's newsletters, 4 collectible bookmarks. Let's see, there's only 1,500 of these limited edition. Is this a numbered edition? No, just as limited edition box set, yeah. The MSRP for this is $86, which I was not going to pay for 4 comic books. But it was a lot cheaper. It was much cheaper for Black Friday, so that's why I finally picked it up before it sold out. Let's see. Oh, there's 2 posters. Yeah. I'll open up a little bit of the plastic and show a little bit of what's in here. Okay, so front without the little slidey thing on it of the case. Side, if you can read all that. Back that has that and the Vinegar Syndrome publishing. Let's see, when we slide this out, you can see the 4 individual issues. So they're not like just like comic books. It looks like they're, well, I guess they're not 4 graphic novels. They are still pretty thin. But if I take all of the individual issues out, let's see. I think we got the 2 posters in here all folded up. And then, are these numbered? Yes, so let's see. Chapter 1. Girls Like You. There's more plastic and more stuff inside all of these, but won't bore you with all of that. Let's see. This is, where's Chapter 2? Chapter 2. It's a lot of bloody Joe Spinell. Shotgun Wedding. Chapter 3. Joe Spinell ends up in bandages here. Chapter 3 is called Road Games. And finally, Chapter 4. I can't show the cover because there's nudity, but there's the back. And Chapter 4 is called Can I Be Frank? And that's, yeah. Oh yeah, the interlocking cases is because I did this wrong. So, I showed you the outer case. This is the inner case that goes inside the outer case. So it has these characters here, and the 4 issues/episodes listed there. So the actual volumes go inside the inner case, like so, like a glove. And then the inner case goes into the outer case, as would be expected, so that you got a nice closed, complete system. So, the comic book set, and the ornament, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies. That was one of the bigger Vinegar Syndrome hauls I have had in quite a long time. They just happened to release a bunch of stuff I was interested in having, either because they're movies I already loved, or movies that I wanted as blind buys, or because they're, they've been big bucket list items like, Keep and Good Bar. But yeah, I'm gonna put this on the tree and slowly make my way through some of these movies. I have a review of Sliver on my Letterboxd if you're interested in more of that. I don't think I have reviews written out for any of these other movies that I've seen before as of now. So you can stay tuned for those. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and hope you have a good one.